Right, I cannot believe I'm making this video, but I wanted to come on here and basically share how I've discovered that Jesus is real and how absolutely insane and crazy that is. And yeah, I know before you scroll away, this is literally like crazy. It's supernatural, and yeah, I just wanted to share my experience in case even just one person is like, oh, and they find the comfort and the help that I found because, like I said, it's absolutely life changing. And yeah, so basically, last year I was getting this like back pain, kind of just all the time. I had scoliosis that I like was diagnosed with as a kid, and I know they like referred me for physio and stuff, but I never engaged. I had a chest X-ray at one point where, for something else, and they were like, "By the way, did you know you have scoliosis?" And I said, "Yeah." Didn't do anything about it. Anyway, as time was going, this like start having this pain. So it's here, in my thoracic spine, because that's where I had the scoliosis, which scoliosis is kind of this abnormal curve of the spine, and the one when it's in this area of the spine is actually, well, it progresses quicker, so it gets worse faster, and it also, because where it is, it can push like the heart a bit, it can, push the lungs and all these important organs. So it's just not a good thing to have and not to be managed. And at the point that I was at, realistically, the main option would have been either nothing and like pain management and stuff, or surgery, which is spinal fusion surgery and things like that, which are very invasive procedures. Um, I basically got to a point, like it snuck up on me, where I was having this like 8 or 9 out of 10 pain pretty much every day. And it was just crazy because I was like, what is going on? Why is my body falling apart so young? Yeah, and I was just really struggling with it at the time. I was a bit panicked. I didn't really know what to do. I remember telling my mom, I told my friends about it, my boyfriend, who had a feel of my spine as well, and he felt the kind of the curve. I felt the curve. I used to trace it, like as a habit. And yeah, the pain was just getting really bad. Right, sorry about that. So, I was just doing stretches one morning, like I was like going like this, and then I felt like really sharp pain, basically. Like I just felt this pain again in my spine, and I like asked myself in my head, I was like, is this my spine that's hurting like this? And I then hear this voice, which was not my voice, like not my in my head voice, my inner monologue, that just responds, it is, but with like so much certainty, right? And I was like, okay, first of all, why on earth am I hearing voices? Like, what is this? What's going on? Second, why is this voice saying it is with so much certainty when I myself don't have that certainty? So I thought that was a bit weird. And then I just felt this like wave of energy, is the best way I describe it. And I was like, I fell back in shock, like, because I was like this, and I kind of went, if that makes sense. um, I was just so confused, what is going on? So anyway, so I just kind of ignored it. I was like, right, that was so weird, but let's just move on. So I got out of bed, and as I'm like moving and walking and stuff, I feel different, but you know, I get to the kitchen because I'm gonna make breakfast, and if you imagine when you have scoliosis, your spine's like, right? So your postural muscles are compensating to try and keep you upright, but inside it's not. So there's quite a few muscle imbalances and things, which is also one of the reasons I was getting all these pains. Anyway, and as I'm like standing in the kitchen, I feel my body like aligned, and that's when my mouth literally dropped. I remember I was like, "There's no way! Like, there's actually no way." So I start tracing my spine, and I can't feel the curve anymore. And then I was like, "Okay, hang on, what like?" And that's when I realized that the voice I heard was God's voice, that God had just fixed my scoliosis, which I honestly I didn't even ask for. Don't know if someone like I don't know. And then my like boyfriend felt it. He was like, "Yeah, it's straight." I remember I went to like the physio and I went to the GP, and they were like, my spine is straight. What do you mean? So then all of my, scientific and medical knowledge, well, not knowledge, but it kind of goes out the window a bit, because then it's like, oh, so there is like literally no medical explanation for scoliosis spontaneously self-resolving because I did a stretch like this. It wasn't even some crazy scoliosis stretch. I was just like, you know. So then from then I got this curiosity of figuring out what was it like, what is that, what happened, was that actually God, and all that stuff. And then I went on this journey for like, I'd say the past 6 months or a bit more maybe. And yeah, it's just been, my life has just been completely different. Like I every day I feel like a better person from the inside out. I feel so much like peace and so much joy and just all these things that like I genuinely didn't feel barely ever before, or be like the exception rather than the rule. And just like that made me realize like, oh wait, so the miracles and all that stuff isn't metaphorical, like they actually happen, because I grew up Christian, but if you'd ask me, oh, do you believe that Jesus was raised from the dead, I'd be like, no, because I just don't see how. But then I was like, oh, so all that stuff did actually happen. And then ever since I've kind of started this journey, I've literally had, conversations with God, the creator of the universe. And yeah, you could say religious psychosis. I think people love to throw that around. But I am very much not psychotic. I'm very much rational and aware of reality. On the contrary, it feels like I used to be like a muggle and now I'm not, if that makes sense. Like the blinders have been taken off, and yeah, it's really good out here. I just made this video because I wanted to share kind of my story, and if even one person, gets to benefit from that, I don't know, I just think you should just give it a try, because what have you got to lose? Like nothing. Okay, maybe your pride that you were wrong about something. Like, oh, you were wrong about God doesn't exist. So what? Like we all make mistakes. We all believe things that aren't necessarily true. But like, if you're ever at a point where you're struggling literally with anything, mental health, I had so many struggles with mental health. Gone. Like, I don't, better than any antidepressant ever. It's crazy. Physical health, loneliness, just anything that you could be struggling with, academics, like, just ask for Jesus's help and he will show up. God will show up, and it's actually crazy. And then it's like mind blowing. So yeah, that's basically all I had to say. I might do like go over some basic concepts and mini Bible studies or whatever for stuff that I struggled to understand when I just started. But yeah, I just hope that you will give Jesus a chance, because he will genuinely change your life in the best way possible, and you'll feel more like yourself than ever, which is really nice. So